You're watching Cable 8, Greensboro Community Television.
Hi, welcome once again to Greensboro Glimpses. As always, we have a very interesting program for you. We're going to be talking about something that's coming to Greensboro this fall. It's called Arts and Dialogue, Responding to Racial Tension in America. Very interesting, something I hadn't heard of until just recently, but we're looking forward to finding out all about it. On my immediate left is Laura Way, who is Executive Director of Green Hill, sort of, I guess, the ramrod for the project, shall we say. And Laura, if you'd introduce your cohorts.
Sure. I'm in Canada, the Interim Director at NCCJ, National Conference for Community and Justice of the Piedmont Triad, and Dara, Nix-Stevenson from Center for Visual Artists. She's a board member and an educator, and we could not be more pleased to be here.
Well, great. Welcome to all of you. We're certainly glad to have you. Let's talk about this. What exactly is Arts and Dialogue?
Well, I'll let everyone speak about this, but Arts and Dialogue started out as an idea that I was at the CEOs for Cities conference last November, and that's a group that the Community Foundation here in Greensboro put together. And our mayor, Nancy Vaughn, was part of a lightning round of mayors, and each mayor got up and talked about what their city was special about. And Nancy got up, Mayor Vaughn got up and said, she was so impactful. She said, Greensboro is a wonderful city, but we have a problem, and our problem is poverty. And she was so honest and impassioned about that. And she talked about how education is the solution for poverty. But that left me with such an indelible impression. Then I came back and I said, how can Green Hill make a difference? And what can I do as a community leader? And then I started thinking about racial tension and what we're seeing in the world around us. And I knew there was a project there and that it had to be based in art. So I took that idea and I went to the Center for Visual Artists, and then NCCJ, and then African American Italian Native American Gallery, and we said, what can we do together? And that's how Art and Dialogue Responding to Racial Tension in America came out. So they could talk about why they jumped in, but it really is a collaboration now.
Yeah, it is a collaboration, and it's interesting, the groups you've got, Center for Visual Artists, NCCJ, African American Atelier, Green Hill, yourself, and Guilford Native American Art Gallery as well.
Yeah.
Why this particular grouping of organizations?
Well, for me, it was the visual arts organizations that reside in this building. With LeBauer Park coming online and all the activity that's happening in this area, I thought it was really important for us to stake our claim to say, we do some really important things in the visual arts, and we do it right here in the Cultural Center. For NCCJ, it was just a natural fit that we needed a partner that was expert in bringing communities together around dialogue, and there is no better organization in Greensboro to do that, or in the Piedmont Triad to do that, than NCCJ. So for me, it was just perfect.
Okay, very good. Ivan, tell us about it from your perspective.
Well, from NCCJ's perspective, we are excited to have the opportunity to have this conversation. We are known to be able to work with youth in our community through our flagship program, Anytown. And so we always work with youth, and we're empowering them to find their voice, to be able to have difficult conversations with their friends. And so we always struggle from the standpoint of how do we do that on a larger scale in terms of community. The fact that we lead young people in these conversations all the time means that there is still a need that we need to do this as the community with adults and decision makers and power brokers. And so for us, we know that sometimes these conversations are difficult to have. We also know there's really big power that happens when these conversations are had with mixed groups and with people that may not see eye to eye. And so we are committed to being able to have this conversation in a way that allows all voices to show up and be respected and heard, and hopefully for sides to be able to walk away with sort of I maybe hadn't thought about things in that way, and to be able to come at things from a different perspective. I mean, really, I think all of us would agree that the only way that things are going to change when we deal with these issues is we have to have everyone in the room talking and listening, and it can't be sort of in siloed conversations where we've got one group having a conversation, but there are people excluded from that conversation.
Okay, very good. Dara, from your perspective, how does CVA plug in?
I would just add that the Center for Visual Artists also in supporting emerging artists in the community from ages 3 to adult by offering after-school programming, summer camp experiences, as well as exhibition opportunities. Art has been used as a lens by this organization for years, since its inception, to have difficult conversations. And just in looking at the exhibition sector, for example, this past winter, artist and teacher Stephen Cozart, who is a teacher at Weaver High School here in Greensboro, actually used his talent as a portrait artist to have the conversation about his historical and present experience with race. And so it's very natural for a gallery like CVA to enter into this collaboration and partner with other galleries to use art as a lens to have difficult conversations around race and ethnicity.
Yeah, very good. Okay, this is coming up in the fall now, coming up September the 24th, I believe, through the 11th of October. Tell us a little bit about what exactly is going to happen. What will we see?
Okay, so the idea is we're going to have a juried art exhibition, and that's the platform from which these conversations will come to be. We'll have anywhere from 50 to 100 works of art, and then we will have panel discussions that'll be more conversational, and Ivan can talk to that more specifically. And then we're doing something really unique, I think, with these open dialogue sessions. And what open dialogue sessions will be are using other medium and other disciplines: dance, music, spoken word, monologues, conversations. Any multidisciplinary artist has the opportunity to submit us a proposal and be part of this ongoing dialogue, but a different means, a different voice. So we're really hoping through the visual art, the multidisciplinary artist who will help expand that conversation, how people hear it and are receptive to it, and then the hard conversations that'll happen one-on-one within the panel and with each other will really make this a powerful program. And it's important to note that we're doing this at Greensboro College. It's a very important partner to us. We see Greensboro College as sort of a neutral territory. Anyone from anywhere in the community can get to Greensboro College. It has the space, they're opening it to us, and they're a really good partner to this. The dialogue sessions are going to be the meat of this project, and Ivan really knows more about that than me.
Okay, Ivan, tell us about it.
So the plan is, over the course of the run of the exhibition, that we will have 5 or 6 dialogue conversations that'll happen. And so these panel discussions that we're calling it will be sort of created over the summer months. And so NCCJ is leading the charge of curating what those conversations and dialogues are going to look like. So we're going to take the themes that are going to be used by the artist that they're using to create the art for this project, and we're going to take those themes and use that from a panel discussion standpoint. So looking at what does intersectionality look like when we talk about race? What does it look like to be in a community like Guilford County that, our community is a lot more diverse than just white and black. And so how do we have that conversation? And so what we're looking to do is we're pulling people that sort of are known facilitators and subject matter experts in our community on these issues together, and for them to work on building out what these panel discussions look like. Who would be the people that would sit on them? What are the voices that we want to make sure that are heard? And then do those throughout the run of the program. And so we're looking at about 5 or 6 of those that would happen throughout the run. And as Laura said, I think that there would sort of be a progression to that. So some early conversations of just sort of what does this really mean? What does our community look like? Why are we having this conversation? And maybe diving into deeper conversations, looking at what does it mean for institutional racism? How does that sort of play out in those ways, and allow people to be able to plug in where they're comfortable with, and maybe even be able to do a little stretching by the end of the program, and be a part of some conversations that maybe they thought they wouldn't have been before.
So the specific panelists and participants have yet to be chosen, is that right?
Have yet to be determined, that's correct.
Okay, is there a way that somebody that might be interested could apply and say, hey, I'd like to be a part of that? What would they need to do?
Well, absolutely. I think that one of the ways that people can get involved is there is a website that we've got a web address through Green Hill's website now, and that's a way that you can get in touch with Laura or myself in terms for this project, and then we can plug you in as need be. But other than that, that's probably the easiest way. Or go to our respective organizations' websites.
Okay, and how about the art? Excuse me, go ahead.
Social media, too. We will use those outlets as well, and we have now a Art Plus Dialogue Facebook community page. And so people who are accessible to social media outlets like Facebook, and I'm assuming Twitter also, and perhaps even Instagram forthcoming, will be able to tap into the information that way too. And the beauty of it is that there's not a singular form of communication, just as there's not a singular expert. So the panels will not consist of just university academics who are intellectuals in their area. It will also consist of community organizers, community liaisons who might have expertise in a certain subject area.
Well, this sounds like a great project. I'm curious. Curious may not be the right word, but I'm interested in learning more about how you feel that art contributes to better racial understanding.
Well, art has always been used as a platform for asking the viewer to step outside of themselves and think about what the artist is trying to say. And sometimes art can be totally inspiring, but sometimes and many times it's evocative. It makes you question, what is that artist trying to say, and what does it mean to me? And that is what we're asking for the artist to do. We're asking for artists who are creating work today that addresses the themes that we talked about, that Ivan spoke about what does it mean to be multicultural in today's societies. It is much more than a black discussion, a white discussion. It is multi-ethnic, multicultural, age-based, ability-based, and use what the artist is trying to convey. Let people sit with that and ponder, what is that message that artist is trying to get across, and what do I feel? And what I really hope happens with the art is you stand there and you think, I don't know what I feel. I have questions. And then we use the other parts of this program, the open dialogue sessions through music or dance. Maybe that'll help you come to some conclusions about what you're seeing and feeling. And then the panel discussions will help round out that conversation. One of the really great things about this project, and Dara could talk about it, is that this project, right now it's 5 of us who are really leading this charge, but this is a project that has committees, and we're bringing in ambassadors during the course of this summer to really make this project work.
Great. And some of the ambassadors who are going to lead the communication charge will be representation from all of the local universities and colleges, as well as people who have been relied upon by entities like Guilford County Schools as facilitators through their diversity and inclusion office. And so it really will be a plethora of voices.
Yeah, sounds like. Now, will you be planning any special exhibits during this time?
Well, unfortunately, I don't have any visual artistic talent, but as a high school science teacher,
well, I mean, your organization is what
I like to talk, and Center for Visual Artists has a number of artists as contacts that they can tap into.
Okay.
And actually, we have started to do that. This is very new. The press release just went out a couple weeks ago, and so submissions will continue to roll in over the summer months, and we'll continue to plug those rich databases for potential artists who've submitted in the past, and will hopefully consider this as well.